There's a Cajun in your kitchen. It's cooking time with Cajun Ed.
Hi, I'm Cajun Ed, and this is Cooking with Cajun Ed. It's the baking turducken segment. And just in case you don't know what a turducken is, it is a boneless turkey stuffed with a boneless duck and a boneless chicken, and it has stuffing in 3 different places inside separating the meat. The one we're cooking today has pork sausage and cornbread dressing in it. If you order a turducken from us, then you're going to receive it in a styrofoam container like this. And when you get it, all you do is open it up and you take the turducken out of the styrofoam container. It comes in this white box and you put the white box in the freezer. 4 or 5 days before you're ready to cook it, you take this white box and you put it in the refrigerator. After the 4 or 5 days is up, then you can take the turducken out and it's thawed out and it looks like this. It's in a vacuum sealed package and it's really easy to handle. Okay, so what happens when you forget that you're supposed to take your turducken out 4 or 5 days and it's Thanksgiving and you have a crowd over and you want to feed them tomorrow? So what you have to do is you can defrost the turducken in the sink in cold tap water, and it takes about 6 hours to defrost it. So what we recommend is that you take this turducken that's in the bag, it's frozen, and so you're going to put it in a bag, and then you're going to take that bag and you're going to set it in the sink in cold tap water. And you're just going to let it float in there. It has to be cold water, and you're going to let the water drip like this and it spills over into the next sink, and so that's safe. And it's going to take about 6 hours to defrost. You can check to be sure that it's defrosted because remember, there's no bones in a turducken. And so what you're going to do is push on it. If there's solidness on the inside, then it still needs to thaw a little bit. If it's no solidness, then it's defrosted. If you defrost it the day before and you're not cooking it the next day, it's perfectly safe to take that turducken out of the sink, put it back in the refrigerator, and keep it chilled overnight, and then bake it the next day for Thanksgiving. Once your turducken is defrosted and you're ready to cook it, you can take it in this plastic bag, which is very easy to handle. We're going to cut the bag that the turducken came in. Then we're going to slide the turducken out of the bag into the pan. And you can use an aluminum pan that you buy at the grocery store if you want to, as long as it's big enough to hold the turducken. And then what you want to do is position it. Just remember that the way it looks when it's going in is going to be similar to how it looks when it's coming out of the oven. And so what we usually do is untuck the wings because we want those to be crispy, because that's my wife's favorite thing to eat and she likes them crispy. And so the turducken's just like this. You don't have to do anything else to it as far as the turducken itself. Okay, once the turducken is in the pan, we're going to cover it with foil. And we're going to tear the foil out so that it'll completely cover the turducken. And then we're going to take a little bit of oil and we're going to put it on the foil so that wherever it touches the turducken, it'll help prevent it from sticking. This is just vegetable oil. Okay, and we're going to spread that around a little bit. And then we're going to make that part be on top of the turducken. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it over the turducken. And we're going to make kind of a tent. You want it to be snug on the edges, but you don't want it to be pressing down on the top of the turducken. And you want it to be, you want to try to get as best you can a seal around the pan to try to keep the moisture inside the pan. But this works perfectly fine. We cook these like this every day in the restaurant and we serve them for dinner. So after the turducken is wrapped and ready to go into the oven, you're going to place it into the oven. You're going to set your oven at 350 degrees if it's a convection oven, 375 degrees if it's conventional, and you're going to bake the small turducken for 3 hours covered. After it's been baking for 3 hours, you're going to open it up, you're going to take the foil off the top, and then you're going to put it back in the oven for another hour to let it brown. What you want to do after you take the turducken out of the oven, you're going to undo the foil and you're going to lift it up a little bit because you want the turducken to cool. So you're going to leave it sit like this for about 30 minutes before you try to remove it from the pan. Okay, so this turducken's rested for 30 minutes and it's ready to be removed from the pan. It's been cooked. We're going to take it out. Of course, you need to get 2 spatulas to be able to do this. Sometimes if you haven't done it before, it's good to get another person's hands in here so you have a couple of people. But we're going to stick these spatulas up underneath it because we want to be careful with it. And we're going to pick it up and we're going to move it to the cutting board. You can also take this turducken and put it on your serving platter if you want it to be your centerpiece for your dinner. Okay, so we've got it over here. Okay, and we're going to let it sit there on this platter for another 20 minutes because we're going to make gravy while we're letting it rest some more. When we make the turduckens, there's a stitching that runs right down here, and when you bake the turducken, the stitching is up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find that stitching and we're going to pull it out. You can put a little pressure where you're pulling on it so that it doesn't tear it, because you want it to look pretty, especially if it's a centerpiece for your Thanksgiving dinner or for your meals. And so we've got the stitch out, and now we're going to carve it. The way we carve turduckens is we want to cut it from head to tail first, and so we're going to cut it straight in half just like this. And there's no bones, remember, it's a completely boneless product except for the wingtips on the turkey. Okay, and once you've cut it in half, leave it together, and then you can cut perpendicular cuts to that first slice, and we're going to cut them about the width of your finger. You can remove the legs first and get them out of the way, and then you just start slicing. And we're going to leave it together while we're cutting, which helps it hold together, keeps it from falling apart so you have nice slices. And then after you slice it, you can pull it apart and you can see the different layers of meats in the turducken. Okay, and so you can see in this one right here, you can see this is the turkey on the bottom, pork sausage stuffing, duck meat, pork sausage stuffing, chicken, and cornbread dressing up at the top. The further you cut towards the front, you get white meat. The further you cut towards the back, you get dark meat. If you have somebody that doesn't like a little bit of spice, which our products are not real hot, but if they don't like it, you get them some white meat up here, and then they're not going to have as much at all.